Hey Leo, this is your July 2020 reading. I want to do this on a little bit more on the general side. I don't like super specific or predictive stuff when it comes to readings that cater to multiple people. I think that creates the wrong type of expectation and can actually end up holding you back a little bit unexpectedly. And I also want to build this around a theme. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shuffle these up a little bit, and I'm going to pull one card out of here, and then we're going to look at a certain like life theme or a focus area to ensure the best month. Just go ahead and grab one here. So what pops out is the bear. The bear oftentimes is about finances. It's about our spiritual nature. And it's also about, sometimes it's about family and mothers. Sometimes it's even about protection. But I'm going to build this more around our own personal power, our own spiritual power for the month, how to develop that, how to grow it out a little bit more so that we can feel more powerful on the inside and then just shine outward. I really like that bear card in this particular deck. I have a couple other decks where the bear just looks angry, but it's just different in this one. So I'm going to throw down a box of 9. And I do read these a little bit different in comparison to others, and I'm going to read this actually different than I do normally for people too, just due to the nature of the reading. All right, let's see what we got here. And just scoot this up here a little bit. So what's showing up right here in the middle is the sun. I kind of like that as the theme as well. So we're looking to grow from a spiritual sense, but we're also looking for a lot of success. And it looks like we're going to be able to achieve this. I like the way this comes out because whenever the sun's shining in the middle, it sort of radiates the rest of the spread, at least the way I see it. Now, the first thing I like to do is go around the outsides. We have the star, the rider, the whip, and the storks. The star is all about our personal aspirations, our goals, the things that we really want to accomplish out there, the things that make us feel a little bit more powerful once we're able to execute on them. And then we have the rider. The rider is about a journey. Sometimes it's about a new person, sometimes it's about a message that's incoming. But I believe this has a lot to do with us riding towards these goals. Now down here we have the whip. The whip is a challenging card. Sometimes it means cycles or difficult experiences, or sometimes it's about us beating ourselves up over things, which is something we certainly want to refrain if we're trying to feel a little bit more powerful on the inside. And then we have the storks. So the storks is always about positive change. It's about positive forward movement. It's about shifting into something that's a little bit better. So we have our plans and our goals that we're driving toward over here. We might run into a few different challenges or cycles where things start repeating for us, but ultimately we can move forward as soon as we make it past this whip. I also like the inner diamond here. We have the person. For the sake of this reading, this will just be the person, the book, the child, and the clouds. Now, this is a person that may be harboring in some secrets or things that are unknown. The book is typically something that's been closed. We don't really know what's inside of it. We've yet to unlock it. And then we have the child, which is sort of a new start, a new beginning. And then we have the clouds over here. The clouds is like having a haze over you or just feeling a little bit foggy. So when we look at this, we have this person who may be holding in some things, but I really think this actually might be more about this person's choosing here to close the book. They're closing a chapter. They're ready to start something different. The last chapter's over with. It's time to do something new to make sure that we can shine and really regain that power inside of us. And then we have the child, which again is something new, and it's going to feel a little bit hazy at first. We may be undecided on what exactly it is that we want to do differently. And in fact, this cycle of haze can last a while too, because I like to night things. So we have the clouds plus the whip here. So that's just constant challenging cycles. You know, one day it's cloudy, the next day it's sunny, and it's a little bit hard for us to get out of this cycle. And then the clouds and the rider is just basically telling us to continue driving through it, because I think sometimes we do have to forage ahead in more of a blind state in order to emerge and come out on the other side of it, things feeling really, really good. So overall, you know, we're going to be focusing on some new plans for ourselves. We're going to be closing a chapter in our lives so that we can move forward and feel more powerful. And we're going to feel like we can start over and move into something that's a little bit better and a little bit more new, especially when you see the stork and the child down here. Now these columns, I also like to look at those. In some instances, this is like past, present, future type of stuff, but we're going to use this as first part of July, second, last part of July. So in the beginning of July, I think there's going to be a lot of brainstorming going on. You have these ideas, you're not really sure what to do with them, and then but you know you want to change things up. You know you want to move forward. You know you want to feel more powerful and more aware of what's going on around you. But it's just important to remember that the storks down here can fly right through these clouds. And when you see the clouds right next to the sun, the clouds may show up frequently when we see this combination here, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to linger over us the whole month. In the middle row, this is the middle part of July. This is the person, the sun, and the child. So we've moved past that haze. We've got that figured out. It's not really anything that we have to worry about anymore. And we're feeling successful. We're feeling good. We're trying something here that's new. And this is a new plan, a new goal, something that comes to us intuitively, saying, you know what, let's try this. Let's drive toward it with the child and the rider up here. And again, the fog is gone. And when we do things like this, when we jump into something that's new, when we trust what we feel inside and then act on those feelings without letting our head jump in and take it off, that's when the sun does shine down. That's when we feel the most clear. That's when that bare spiritual power and personal power enters the picture. Now, the last part of the month here, we have the rider, the book, and the whip. So it's, you know, even though we've jumped into something new, I still feel that something down here is going to close. We're going to make a decision to set something else aside for the time being and then focus in on these new ventures because that's where we feel the best. So we have the rider, again, the book, and the whip. So when these feelings start creeping in, if they do, just take yourself back to this place right here in the middle. I think this middle row is very, very telling. I think it's reminding us that new things are good. You know, trying out every single thing that you feel really, really passionate about until you find the one thing that sticks. When that one thing ends up sticking, I think that's when you're ready to show the world exactly who it is that you are. I also want to look at the rows here too. The top row is usually representative of where your focus should be, and that's the star, the person, and the rider. Now that's this person with these new ideas, maybe achieving to be some type of star, and they're driving forward. So just remember this month, your mindset should be to drive forward. Don't get stuck in the clouds over here, just keep moving. The middle row is just more about the environment. These are our hazy days, we have our sunny days, and we have things that are sort of closing off in our life. Don't let these things that we're setting aside and we're closing the book on affect you. Don't let that cause these cycles down here. And then down here at the bottom, we just have the storks, the child, and the whip. So that's still going to be some apprehension about this new beginning. And I think it's also possible that you might try out a couple of different things. When you feel positive about something and you try it, and then, you know, maybe it doesn't work out exactly as expected, or you lose that fire that's associated with it, don't worry about it. It's possible to go through this particular cycle down here again and then try something new. Be eclectic during this month. Try out different things. You know, anything that you do that makes you feel more powerful and more on top of the world is going to be good for it's basically going to be great for your spiritual side. It's going to be great for your soul. It's going to make you shine on the outside and regain all of that awesome Leo power that we have. You know, now I could also go and look at some of the diagonals. I'm just going to go through the two of them quickly. We also have the storks, the sun, and the rider. That's basically saying we're going to be flying into the sun while we're on this journey. It sort of helps reinforce the things we've already seen. And then we also have the stars, the sun, and the whip. And that reinforces what I said just a second ago. All these different goals, all these different ideas that we feel may be successful. We might have to repeat through a couple of different things. We might have to close the chapter on something new that we try to, again, until we find the one thing that sticks. So my best suggestion for you this month is try out anything that you feel passionate about, whether it's a creative endeavor or anything that really, really makes you feel good inside. Follow it, pay attention to it, see if it's something that's going to work out for you. Don't just necessarily give up because you think it's not going to work, but if it doesn't feel right, that's when it's time to set it aside. go through these different cycles in a sense of different opportunities, different things for you to try. And I think ultimately you're going to finish the month with a really, really good sense of success. I think you're going to regain that glow. I think you're going to have all of that bear power inside of you, and then be ready to tackle August with a very, very renewed sense of self, and possibly even a new purpose that really, really brings you joy and happiness. Now, if you see anything else in here that I missed, feel free to leave a comment. I don't always catch everything, or if you have a question, I'm happy to answer those. But I do hope that you found this helpful, and I wish you all the best of July. Bye-bye.